Okay, these are 12 suggested activities. These are either activities that we've thought up or clients have reported back to us that their clients, or I'm sorry, that their residents like to do. The first one is overview training. This says walk the residents through the user's manual. We do have a user's manual for you. Let me find it. Here's one. Obviously, you brand this for your company. But what you'll do is you just print these out and put them next to the computers, and it really makes it simple. It's a user's manual for the resident portal, step by step, for the residents who have never used a computer before. It even explains what a monitor is, what a keyboard is, what a mouse is, and how to use it, and it gives them a very basic understanding of the computer. So if they're at that level, you can certainly get this manual out and walk them through it step by step and kind of point out the different features and functions of the computer. This is something that maybe you'll do once or twice for the first, the first initial week or so. I think this came to us from a Sunrise client, and it seemed to work pretty well, so we built this user's manual for them. Okay, the second one we have is Mail Day. Pretty simple. Again, this is an assisted living situation, and maybe you've got 4 or 5 residents who are interested in sending mail to their friends and family, but they don't know how. It's a good opportunity for you to sit down with them, go through the private pages with them, make sure they know their code, have them enter the private pages, and then go ahead and write their mail to their family member, and just so they feel good about it. You don't need to go into detail about how it's all working. Just make sure that they send out the mail and help them type if need be. Number 3, and specifically for assisted living communities, this can kind of get really popular really quick. This is virtual visit Sundays, or whatever day on the weekend is best, where you pre-arrange virtual visit, web video conferencing with a family member or several family members, and sometimes you'll have a sign-up sheet next to the computer. So if a resident wants to do virtual visit with 3 or 4 of their relatives, you can set that up for them or have them sign up, and then just set some time aside on a Sunday to do it. It may take 3 or 4 hours. You don't necessarily need to be there the whole time, but make sure you certainly have the a sign-up sheet ready for them to go. So that's a really good activity. It also introduces them to the computer and lets them visit their family at the same time. This is movie night, and though obviously you can choose from a wide variety of movies that are current, what you'll find if you put this up on your big screen TV and you go through the nostalgia section, and you've got maybe 8-10 people watching the big screen, and you just slowly kind of walk through this section right here, and you'll have them kind of yell out which one they'd like to see, because these are all relatively short, anywhere from 2 minutes to 30 minutes, and they're a lot of the times they've grown up with this kind of stuff, and so it's kind of a nice walk down memory lane for them. But you can call it nostalgia night and turn it into an activity. Again, you're basically just showing them that the computer is something easy to use, and you're not getting too technical at all. You're just showing them how to work the system. The next one is game night, and there's just a lot you can do with this. If you go to games, there's remember we have the trivia game that you can put up on your big screen TV, play a group trivia together. But another thing that you can do, one community in Washington does this, I think every Tuesday or Wednesday, is they have a casino night, and what they do is they play roulette, and the girls put on some, they dress up and they have martinis, and they kind of sit around the computer, and they just have a lot of fun playing poker against each other, or playing against a machine, playing craps, that sort of thing, and they get dressed up, so it's kind of a nice way to spend the night. It's a little bit different. So you can call it poker night, you can call it game night, whatever you want to call it, but it's in the game section. Number 6 is virtual travel. They get a big kick out of this. They actually do this quite a bit on their own, but use virtual travel. What one community does is it asks the origin of the resident. What country are you from? So if somebody's, say, Italian, half Italian or something, they'll go to the Italy webcams, and then maybe if he knows or she knows the town that they were born, or close to where they were born, or their parents were from, they can look it up and see if there's a camera of that town, and then they show the camera, and then they just kind of go around the room, and stories start to emerge about their childhood and about their parents, and it's a really nice way for them to get to know each other, and also, again, just using the computer, showing them what they can do with it. So that's called virtual travel. Number 7 we have here is Art Appreciation Day or Art Appreciation Hour or whatever you want to do. It's essentially using the museums, kind of the same thing, big screen TV. You get a lot of oohs and ahs when you do this. They want to see the Natural History Museum. They want to go to see the sea life, and maybe it's usually sometime after dinner when they want to kind of mellow out. You just start the tour, and you put it on the big screen TV, turn up the music, and you enlarge the screen, and then just let them enjoy it. Again, you can put it on 5 minutes, 15 minutes, or whatever you want, but that's a really good idea. And also, we've heard a lot of clients with memory care. They use this quite a bit, and the residents really seem to like it. The museum section. This is number 8. This is book club. Now, this is something that you can start, and then the folks can kind of do this on their own at the same time. So, in other words, let's say you wanted to do an audio book of the month for those residents that can't read so much that well anymore. So they're going to pick a book, right? And then during the course of a week, everybody listens to maybe one particular chapter of this book, and then they get together on a weeknight, and then they talk about the book. It's a book club, essentially. And it's done through listening instead of reading, or obviously they can read the books as well. But it's still something where they have to meet once a week and talk about it, but during that course of that week, they all independently go and either read the book or listen to the book. So introducing that as an ongoing activity is a pretty good idea. This idea actually came from a client of ours who wanted to have her residents get more involved with helping her get media for the media section. So she formed a media committee, and every time they would go on an outing or whether they just wanted to walk around, it's a fairly large campus. It's in the south, and they have trees everywhere. But they would take pictures and create slideshows, and they were very proud of their slideshows. And then they would be the ones who sent out invitations to everybody in the system to come and check out their slideshows that they created. And it's just a nice way to get a group of people together, who like photography maybe, and have them post something to the media section. Again, once you really start to learn the system, you'll see that there's a wide variety of activities where you can include different people and then kind of push them out on their own and let them start to develop their own sense of confidence and their own sense of what they want to get out of it. And that's one really good example where she planted the seed of an idea with some residents and they ran with it. This came from another client of ours, and it actually is kind of spread pretty well. I mean, I've told a lot of people about this, and it's kind of initially it's a little difficult to do, but here's what you do. You've got a local high school. High school kids get hours for volunteering, I guess towards their grades or something, I don't know. But you reach out to the local high school, and then you partner up the high school student with one of your residents, and have the high school kids come in and teach the residents how to use a computer. They get it. The high school kids don't even need to look. They automatically understand. But then once maybe they come in for an hour, but then they have ongoing communication with that resident. It makes the residents feel really good to have that outside link to a kid like that. Obviously, it depends on the resident. But it started with one of the communities up in Brentwood, California, started this, and it's really caught on. Now, I'm just going to slide another one in here that I don't think is in this list. There was a client of ours up in Ventura, California, who did something called Seniors Gone Wired. And what he did is he took the resident portal on a big screen and invited the entire community of senior citizens, not necessarily in his community, but in the town, to come and learn about how to use a computer. And he got up in front of the group and he gave them step-by-step instructions, and then he invited all of those folks in the community to sign up and be in the prospect list for the resident portal, for his community. And so now they're at home and they're learning how to use a computer and they're playing all these games and doing all these things, and all the while they're in his prospect group and he's continuing to stay in touch with them. And like I said, he called it Seniors Gone Wired. Okay, so the next one we have here is Resident of the Month. Okay, develop a committee to start using the Resident of the Month feature. Have the committee select a resident based on whatever is important to the committee. So we're all familiar with the Resident of the Month. This is, again, something that folks can do, whether it's in their resident meeting or resident council meeting. But certain people can vote on somebody that they want to vote to be the Resident of the Month, and they can put them in the resident spotlight, but leave it up to the residents to do it. Plant the seed with the residents, and then let them follow up and maybe help them do it once or twice until they really get the idea of it. So now they've got buy-in to the whole system, and they're really becoming more and more a part of it. And the Resident of the Month is up here and should rotate through any second. I'm not going to wait for it. We all know what the Resident of the Month is. This is another one. It's called Picture Day. This is often done too, even before you, right after you implement it, and the residents are aware of it. You set up your web camera. You know that your web camera can take still shots. You set up a chair across from your web camera. You take their picture. You download it to your computer. You upload it to the resident's file, and you just call it Picture Day. Now, you get something done too. A lot of these things, what you'll want to do is, when you find a couple of residents who really get interested in more than some of the others, you want to pass the baton of some of these things and give them a certain amount of responsibility. They feel a little bit more confident, and they want that responsibility, and then they'll start to get the rest of the group involved for you. So this is one way to do that with Picture Day. All in all, these were 12 activities. I'm sure there's another 12 in there that you can think of on your own, but this should get you started.